How's it going, everybody? This is Seer here, and it is the new year 2025, and we are finishing up with the current patch with the Immortal X-Men and Mighty Avengers. It's been about a month and a half or so since I've done one of these videos. This is our Power Trio's best teams to invest in video. So this is going to be a ranking as far as importance goes, and not everybody has all the resources to take every team up with all 5 characters. This is kind of showing you where you should invest your resources at as far as diamonds, purple ISO, and everything for these teams. So without further ado, let's get started. The first team on this list is going to be the Annihilators. They are still the top team, mainly due to them being an arena team. They're used in Alliance War, they're used in Cosmic Crucible. This team has so many uses, and the top 3 characters for this is going to be Gladiator, as he's the pre-taunt, spawns in with that defense up, immunity, safeguard. And we also have Thanos Endgame, who has been wrecking shop in the Cosmic Crucible right now due to that stage 1. Then we have Gore. He scales so incredibly well. If you only have him at about 3 or 4 stars, get him to that 7 stars and diamonds on him, and he pumps out so much damage. He clears charges, has a no revive, basically permakill if he gets the killing blow on them. This team is fantastic. They're easily the top team for this list. The second team on here is going to end up being the Night Stalkers team. So due to the use of Night Stalkers being how good they are in Alliance War and currently Cosmic Crucible on offense, and they're the raid team with the new stats. This team is amazing. We finally have it to where we can farm extra shards for this team, so I did bump them up. And the next few teams are going to be the raid teams, because the raids are so important as far as trying to get your alliance to push to those higher difficulties. They're very impactful, and with the new stats on these characters, they're easy and you don't feel bad invested. For the power tree on this is going to end up being Blade, Oath, and Agatha. Blade being able to do those rewinds. You do want to make sure you get his passive awakened, though. That way, anytime there's a crit, he gets the assist on those attacks. His striker attack is very impactful as well. Oath, she does a lot of damage. She does a lot of work getting the exposed mechanics out there. She's actually a really good character. She also gives the extra turn meter to the team. And then we have Agatha, who's just an absolute damage dealer. If she gets her ult off, it basically can wipe entire waves out, whether that's in Alliance War, on offense, raids, or Cosmic Crucible. If that ultimate gets pulled off, it's kind of game over for whatever team is on the other end of that attack. Now, Man-Thing, he is very good. He gives the extra speed to the team. However, you don't really need to make him as big as these 3 characters. Oath, for how squishy he is, you definitely want to get the extra gear and ISOs on her. Make sure that she does survive. That's one reason, plus the extra damage that she does deal out. That's why I do have her as the 3rd member on this team. Next up, we have the Spider Society team. Now, this team here, they are kind of the new-ish Infinity Watch for how annoying they are. They, without even any roles in Cosmic Crucible, this team is still a hassle and can take out a lot of efficiency. They can kind of pull back wins for if you have this on defense or however you're actually using them. The P2B Parker being able to heal every turn is very impactful as well. Now, for Alliance War, they're usually on the defense side of things. They are a good offensive weapon as well. The trio for this is going to end up being Penny, P2B Parker, and Spider-Man Pavitra. Now, Pavitra, he has a lot of plug-and-play use, being able to get vulnerables out on the other side of the field, and it's the 2 vulnerables, I believe, that he ends up putting out there. If there's evades on the other side of the field, it basically clears those evades as well. He's a very, very good plug-and-play character, especially with the damage that he can pump out with that ultimate. P2B Parker, we already mentioned, the healing that he does is very annoying. Then we have Penny, who has very high resistance, so it's hard to land those negative effects like stuns on her. She does a flip on the ultimate, or all of the buffs on the other side of the field. She has 2 stuns on her as well. She's a very good character. She also does a lot of damage, so having that striker hit on her is very impactful. Next up on the list, I do have the Orcus team on here. Having it to where, say, a Mephisto's with this team on defense in Alliance War, it's very impactful for how you need to take this team out. Even in Cosmic Crucible, putting the Mephisto with them makes it to where you have to sack this team twice. It takes a lot of efficiency out. However, right now Mephisto's in a different room, usually in Cosmic Crucible, so you're not really seeing that. I did end up testing them out a little bit on the offense side of things in Cosmic Crucible, and they are actually very good as an offensive weapon as well, so that's why I did bump them up a little bit, especially with those new stats. For the trio on here, Lady Deathstrike is a no-brainer. She does so much damage, she has turn meter rewinds, and she can just delete people. Nimrod, he does a lot of damage as well. Or how many tech summons he gets out on the field with, like, say, Sentinel or Mysterio, you can really ramp up his speed. And then in raids, he gets a lot of speed there as well, due to all of these Sentinel bots that keep coming in. Now, I do have Omega Sentinel as the third piece on here. I know a lot of people like to sub her out and throw somebody else in. However, having those out-of-turn pings is very impactful. Depending what character you have with this team, like, say, a Mephisto, for instance, I actually like taking the Scientist Supreme out and throwing Omega Sentinel in due to those pings, the stuns, and the damage that she can really pump out there. Next up, we have the Mutant team, which is going to be the Extreme X-Men. This team is still very good, whether that's on offense or defense. Usually they're on the defense side in Alliance War and Cosmic Crucible. However, pulling Nightcrawler off, using him as an offensive weapon is very, very good, especially if you put him with the Mercs for money with, like, Old Man Logan. It can really change the dynamic of that team. Gambit, having it to where he gets the out-of-turn pings. If the ultimate gets pulled off, it can really mean game over for your opponent due to all of the buff splits, the damage output that it could end up doing. Then we have Forge, who is kind of, you have to take him out first. Even if you say, well, I got him under control, I'm going to switch targets. Forge will sneak up on you, get that ultimate off, and just flip the match on its head. Forge is a very good character for this team. Now we have the Spotlight teams. So this one here, I was trying to find a reason to put the Uncanny Avengers ahead of the Alpha Flight team. I can't do it. So we're going to talk about the Alpha Flight team first, then we're going to go into the Uncanny Avengers. The Alpha Flight team is the first, well, technically second section in the current Spotlight raid. We have the No Requirement team, and then we have the Alpha Flight team. So that's one reason I put Alpha Flight ahead of it. As far as the characters, we have Sasquatch, who is a very good pre-taunt, and it's not really a pre-taunt, it's basically on your opponent's turn, he gets a taunt unless there's a disrupt on him. So just because of that, that gives a lot of value to him. Northstar being able to do that ult on turn 1, he's super fast, flips all those positive effects to negative effects. He has a blind on his special. He's a very good plug and play character. Also, his ultimate being able to strip revive once is off your opponent as well. That's another huge factor for him. Guardian, he has 2 stuns on him. He has an offense up on spawn for the entire team. It's not even locked behind, say, hero characters for Alpha Flight. It's just your allies get offense up. That right there gives them a lot of value. Now we have the Uncanny Avengers. So let's go ahead and talk about this team. Currently, as of recording this video, Hercules is not in the game to where you can end up getting him. So I do have Ares as the placeholder. So with the Uncanny Avengers, the nodes are basically geared so that way once you get the full team, Beast is going to get them the ability energy. And then from there, you can just always ult on turn 1 with Storm, and then ult with, say, Polaris, ult with Jean Grey, and you're going to walk through it. So because of that, and having it to where Hercules, anytime you end up hitting into the target with buffs, you're going to take all the buffs away as well. This is going to be the power trio. So it's going to be Storm, Jean Grey, and Hercules. Jean Grey making it to where she kind of shuts down the speed mechanics. So any, say, Super Scrolls that you go against, it's a very easy counter. Now, the team itself is very lacking outside of the raids, so that's why I do have them towards the bottom. The reason I don't have them at the very bottom, below the Hive Mind team, is because Hive Mind, once the new raids come out, whenever that's going to end up being, this is the first team that's going to get swapped out. So that's why I have the Uncanny Avengers above the Hive Mind team. Due to the Hive Mind team not having those new stats, that's going to leave them susceptible to where it's going to be a lot harder to get the push for your Carnage to start kind of ramping the team up. So I just don't see a lot of longevity with this team. However, we do want to invest in this team because they are a raid team. So this is going to be at the bottom of the list, then Uncanny Avengers, then Alpha Flight. I'm hoping something changes to give more value to the Uncanny Avengers, but I'm not too optimistic about it because it is 8 reworked 2 new characters. So I don't really see anything coming. If it does, great. But the team is really all about getting Storm to get her ult off, and then the match is over. So now we're going to talk about some changes to my previous list. The new kings and queens, that's more queens, of the Alliance War is going to be the Absolute A-Force. This team is a monster, whether it's on offense or defense. Kahori has flipped the game on its head due to her speed dynamic. And then we have Ms. Marvel Classic. She is a powerhouse of a tank, especially if you got healer on her. Having it where she keeps the team healed up. They're very difficult to take out if they're on defense in Alliance War. You are able to take them out using a mirror match, which is kind of what I've been doing. I've been using mine on offense to try to hunt down certain teams like that. Now, Wasp, she is the 3rd best member in my opinion. Her ultimate just deletes entire teams due to the crits and how much damage she does to the entire team. The special, it's basically a nuke. You target the character, you hit the special, more times than not, you're going to kill whoever's on the receiving end of that special due to all the bonus attacks, the damage output she does, and as a raider, being able to kind of get the crits on those, it's very, very devastating. So definitely invest in her. I know some people have been using like maybe a Medusa or Ironheart. Wasp is amazing. Even outside of Alliance War, just to kind of get those kills. The next team on the list is going to be the Mercs for Money team. So the 3-piece for this is going to be Old Man Logan, Pandapool, and Deadpool. I know there's usually a toss-up on that 3rd member. Some people prefer to use Dakin over Deadpool. More times than not, I use Deadpool. I use this trio just so that way they keep reviving each other. And it's very hard to kind of get those characters killed off because of that. Usually if I go into like a Astral team and Alliance War, these are the last 3 surviving members, and I either time out or I get the victory due to these characters keep coming back, and it's very hard to kind of get the perma kills on these 3 characters due to that. Old Man Logan, he has so much use, whether that's in Alliance War, whether that's in Cosmic Crucible. He's not really meta in Arena anymore. Powers, he's a great addition in there as well, so definitely get your Old Man Logan as big as you can. He's amazing. For Pandapool, having it to where he's able to keep those taunts up, getting those assists hauled in with Old Man Logan. His ultimate does actually a decent amount of damage, plus all the buffs he puts on the team. He's a great member on this team. Or she. I don't know what Pandapool is. Next up, we have the Illuminati team. So the 3-piece here is going to end up being Captain Britain. We have Black Panther Shuri, and we have Hank Pym. The Captain Britain, due to for the holidays, they did end up having options where you can kind of get more shards for him, so people were able to finally get the unlock or an extra star level for him. He's still being vaulted, but if you have Captain Britain, definitely take him up. He is a great member on the Illuminati team, whether it's at 3, 4, 5, or all the way up to diamonds. The bigger your Captain Britain, the better. He is a powerhouse on the Illuminati team. For Black Panther Shuri, she does a lot of turn meter rewinds, ability blocks. She shuts down assist. She hits very hard as well, especially as a raider. She has deleted teams for me trying to take out this team, just her on her own. Then there's Hank Pym. The way he's able to keep the team moving, the sustain, the speed up that he can give to hero allies gives him a lot of longevity. So in the future, say the Illuminati starts to fall off, Hank Pym is going to have a lot of use due to being able to have synergy with the heroes on his ally side. For the Cabal team, there's only 3 members, so there's not much to really talk about this. This team is really good, whether that's on offense with King and Emma to kind of take out a lot of teams, or on defense, plug in like Mephistos, Kangs, Emmas. This team has a lot of modular use where you can plug villain characters with them, and it can keep this team and characters alive for what the Cabal is able to do, even outside of Cosmic Crucible. For the Undying team, the 3-piece I have here is going to be Hela, we have Zombie Juggernaut, and we have Zombie Scarlet Witch. Now, I know some people don't have Zombie Scarlet Witch due to how the event actually was. You can still use this team with Zombie Iron Man. That's still a very good war offense team. It's just the Zombie Scarlet Witch really ramped up this team to the next level, putting them towards the top end of war teams in Alliance War. The Zombie Juggernaut being able to do that pre-taunt, so he's good even outside of Alliance War. You can use him as a pre-taunt in Cosmic Crucible and get a lot of value out of him there as well. Hela, she just kind of keeps the team moving. Once Hela goes, the team starts to fall apart, so you do want to get your Hela as big as possible for this team to really work. Now we have the Astral team, and this team here is very polarizing due to how they kind of sold the team, making it to where this is supposed to be a Battle World team. The Battle World got pulled. Battle World should be coming back, though, here within a month, because he said late January, early February, that Battle World should be coming back. Now, I don't have a lot of other Battle World teams on this list like I did last time I did this video, because we don't know what changes are coming with Battle World. I know there was like a kind of a sneak peek blog to where there's going to be 4 zones, basically 3 days out of the month. So that's going to definitely help relieve a lot of the pressure. But as far as the team goes in Alliance War, this is still a very good team in Alliance War. The 3-piece I have on here is going to be Shadow King. Having it to where he's big enough, that ultimate is very devastating, keeps them alive as well, to where you can take those negative effects off your entire team. I do like Ancient One as one of the power trios on here. I know a lot of people prefer Moondragon, which we're going to discuss after this. But the Ancient One, having it to where she's able to use that special and gets the speed up and the counterattack, it really gets the team moving outside of Battle World. So in Alliance War, she gets that special. Everybody gets the speed up. Everybody gets the counterattacks. And then the team really starts to make an impact. For Doctor Strange, you want him to make sure that he survives. Get him as big as you can, because once that ultimate gets pulled off and you bring your entire team back up, you basically can flip the match on its head. So there's been a lot of matches where, say you're in Alliance where you're attacking this team, you start killing members, and due to all the crits that the Astral team gets due to Ancient One, he's going to get the ultimate so much faster. He's going to revive basically the entire team, and then it's game over for you. So Doctor Strange had a fantastic rework due to the ultimate. The special hits like a truck as well, flips all those positive effects. Now, as far as Moondragon goes, she is very good. She does the disrupt on the ultimate. She peels positive effects off. She has rewind on her. However, I don't see her as one of the power trios. She definitely got kind of revitalized the Infinity Watch in Cosmic Crucible as an Infinity Watch sack teams where you try to take out the Captain Britain, which is fantastic. So you definitely still want to get her up. But as far as the Astral team itself, this is the trio that I would end up going with. All right, so now we have the Superior Sinister 16. This one here is very difficult to really narrow down because I love this team so much. It's one of my favorite teams that's currently in the game. Previously, I did have Doc Ock as one of the power trios for this team. Then I had Green Goblin Classic and Kraven. I did end up swapping it to where Spider Slayer's got the edge over Doc Ock now, and that's due to the Infinity Watch. Having it to where, not the Infinity Watch, the Illuminati. Sorry about that. Having it to where you get the extra damage with the offense up due to Spider Slayer, it really helps out for you to take this team out. Doc Ock does give them the extra health, which is very impactful. And then he has a way to summon out the Shocker, then the Shocker can get offense up. So it takes a little bit longer to get online, and you do lose out on the health. But having the burst right off the bat to try to get rid of the team, I do give the edge over to Spider Slayer now. So that has changed. Green Goblin Classic, having it to where there's the ultimate with turn meter rewinds, traumas, negative effects, rewind on the special. Green Goblin Classic is a great legendary character, and we're still using them, which I'm actually very happy about. Craven, having it to where you can get an ability block, get safeguard, perma kills, and nice AoE damage on the ultimate. He does a lot of work for this team as well. I really like him. For the next layer on here are going to be the other two members of the Superior Six. I just wanted to kind of highlight and talk about them. Lizard has a lot of plug and play use. If you ever see Spider Burst characters on the other side of the field, you can bring him along and he's going to be able to ult and go very quickly, take all the positive effects off, and really change the matchup from the get-go. So Lizard is a really good character. For Vulture and Mysterio, I use these two mainly in Alliance War. I've also been using these two characters along with Doc Ock, Craven, Green Goblin Classic, usually in Cosmic Crucible as well. These two characters, if you have the additional resources, definitely build them up. They are fantastic. Mysterio making it to where they can't get immunity. He has the ability block, the blinds, heal block. He does a lot of work for the team. Vulture being able to take the speed up off the opponent, get slows out there, turn meter rewinds, flip positive effects, and he does a lot of damage on that basic. So definitely as a whole, I know it's 7 characters. Definitely build this team up. They are amazing everywhere. All right, so now we have the 2 new teams. So we're gonna have a little discussion about these. These are luxury teams. I do not recommend building them up if you haven't gotten the other teams that we discussed built up. The Immortal X-Men is kind of the epitome of a luxury team in Cosmic Crucible. They do allow me to kind of move more things to the defense side of things because I have so many offensive weapons now. But the team is all about getting Storm to her turn 2 so that way she can do an ultimate. Jean Grey, I know people's kind of disappointed in the damage that she does to the team. She does a lot of work for the team when you got the 5-man together. And when she has more stars, that special and ultimate is going to be very devastating. And she's going to be kind of on the level of what Storm is. She's just going to be a really good support character. It's still going to be about Storm. Turn 2, ult, the match is over. The reason I have Beast here as the 3rd member of this is because of the raids. He's kind of disappointing. He was so good when he was with the Astonishing X-Men, but he doesn't feel like that on the Immortal X-Men because of the way Jubilee kind of worked, and where when the Astonishing X-Men would start dropping low, he'd start healing them up. He need to get turn meter. He doesn't have that with the Immortal X-Men, which is very disappointing. But because we need him for the raids, that's why I have him as the 3rd member. Polaris is all about bringing the enemy together. Cabal does the special to do a turn meter rewind, so that way he can start getting ahead for that Storm ultimate. That's really what this is about, like I mentioned. For the Mighty Avengers. So Hercules is not in the game yet. As I mentioned, I'm using Ares as the placeholder. So for this, I have Hercules, I have Falcon, both raid characters. And then if you want to work on the 3rd member, I would honestly recommend Invisible Woman. The barrier that she's able to put on the team, offense down on the other side, she does retaliate. So if you hit into the barrier, she's going to be dealing damage to you. She is very good in that aspect of the team itself. For Scarlet Witch, she just kind of has that synergy with Vision. I'm not happy with how they kind of worked her. Vision, he is good, especially with Scarlet Witch on there, to where you can do that turn meter rewind. If you're going into Mystic teams, if you got that T4, Vision's going to be able to ult turn 1 and do that rewind, get traumas out there and everything. He does ability block. He has a lot of dodge, but I think Invisible Woman is going to be better, if that kind of makes sense, due to the retaliates and the survivability that she's going to be able to give to the team. So now we do want to talk about some plug and play characters. Obviously it's going to be the 5 mythic characters. So if you get Super Skrull, APOC, Mephisto, Odin, build them up immediately. I still use them every single day, even though these are older Dark Dimension characters, and the Apocalypse one right here, they are so impactful, and I'm glad that these mythic characters have that longevity. Ultimus is on that Annihilator's team. You are able to plug him in, say, with the Cabal, and he's a great counter into going into Ms. Marvel Classic, for instance. Ms. Marvel Classic gets taunt every single turn. That really speeds up your Ultimus. That way you can ult right off the bat, and he can keep going, use that special, use the basic. He's a really good Ms. Marvel Classic killer in that aspect. Super Scroll, you don't even need to use the 2 heroes, 2 villains. Put him with all villains, and he does extra damage because of ultimate that's going to end up happening. That ramps up the damage due to it. Apocalypse. He basically kind of shuts down the Thanos endgame. If you're able to get the Falcon Punch into Thanos endgame in that stage 1 Cosmic Crucible, then you're going to be kind of set to basically get the victory on there. Mephisto, Odin, I don't really need to talk about them. They're the 2 newest Mythic characters. They kind of complement each other in their own aspect. Odin with the survivability, the battlefield effect of doing the damage out there. Mephisto with the packs and kind of getting the work out there. For Black Knight, he is basically a Kahori killer and a Super Scroll killer. Black Knight has a lot of offensive utility right now in Cosmic Crucible due to that. In Alliance War, you can still throw him on defense, and he's going to be a menace for a long time due to those retaliates until more characters come out that can do that. Basically shut him down by that. Then we have Kang. He's really good with the Cabal team. He's still really good in Cosmic Crucible. His team basically is non-existent. I don't use Masters of Evil really anywhere now. It's all about Kang, throw him with Cabal. So the Masters of Evil time is unfortunately over. So unless you need to build them up for the Legendary, then you can kind of ignore that. And then we have Ares. He's a powerhouse in Alliance War, whether that's on the offense side or defense side. You can use him either way. If you put him on the defense, they're going to have a hard time taking certain teams out depending on what you plug him with. So definitely build him up. I don't have the legendary teams like I did last video that I ended up doing this. I wanted to kind of keep it a little bit shorter. I wanted to talk more about these newer teams that came out because the patch is almost over. And I think we had enough experiments with the Immortal X-Men. I did a lot of testing with the Mighty Avengers. And also, as you noticed, the Secret Defenders isn't on here anymore either. I really don't use them too much in Cosmic Crucible and Alliance War, really. So they're kind of falling off that barometer right now as far as that goes. But let me know what you guys think. Is there anything that you see different that you would end up doing for this list? And I'll try to get this updated once the next patch comes around. So I'm going to do this kind of every month or patch to keep it fresh and updated for you guys. Now, if you did enjoy this video, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, have a wonderful rest of the day.